Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Drive Pink Dialogue. We are in the 94th and a half minute, and it looks like we are doing a penalty review, or at least a dog show review. And so this game is not over yet. We'll keep an eye on that. It looks like it's outside the box challenge. Does potentially look like a red card. But this game is over. It's 4-1 Inter Miami. Regardless of how this turns out, especially if there's no penalty involved, which in terms of a penalty kick, which looks like the case. So Inter Miami is going to go on to defeat the New England Revolution 4-1. Let me just mute it in my background so it's not distracting me. And it was a just positive vibe game all around, I think, for Inter Miami. This was an opponent that was overmatched, especially defensively. They are unable to keep up with Inter Miami. Sorry, I'm trying to listen to this announcement at the same time. And Jordi Alba ends up with 2 goals. Tadeo Allende ends up with 2 goals. Tadeo Allende, I had been keeping track of his goal count all season on the podcast and had miscounted at some point. And so I had gotten him up to 16 goals, and then someone in the comment section told me I was wrong and they were right, and they were right. And it was at 13 goals, but now I think he's at 15 goals officially on the season, which has gotten himself back to like a really respectable number, especially if he can get another one over the course of the next 2 games. And he's also found himself in decent form, which is not something I think any of us would have expected 3 weeks ago. But Tadeo Allende with the brace, he's now got 4 goals in his last 5 games. Jordi Alba with the brace. Lionel Messi with a number of assists in this game. The one goal that we did allow, it was really nice play by Dor Terjeman, who's their new potential superstar for that New England team. I mean, he looks really good, even in a team that was overmatched, where he kind of nutmegs Maxi Falcone and then puts one into the far post. Nothing that Rocco could have done about it. Rocco, speaking of which, had a number of nice saves. But ultimately, this is sort of a bittersweet moment because this is what Inter Miami needed to do, but they also needed to do it on Tuesday night. And because they didn't, the Philadelphia Union were able to clinch the Supporters' Shield tonight with a win, 1-0 over NYCFC. And so Inter Miami now has 2 games left in the regular season. One versus Atlanta United, which will be without a bunch of their best players. One without, one where everyone has sort of one last opportunity on the road before the playoffs, and that's going to be against a solid Nashville team where you're just jockeying for position. And that's the sort of sad point of the season. After this game, Inter Miami is at 59 points. They're probably locked into 3rd place, I would guess, or potentially 2nd place in the Eastern Conference, which means they'll get home field advantage in the first round and then hopefully in the second round as well if they can jump Cincinnati. For those that don't know, Cincinnati has 33 games played. They have 1 game left. Miami has 2 games left, but they'd have to win both of them because Cincinnati will win a tiebreaker between the 2 teams if they're tied on points. Beyond that, Charlotte and New York City FC are on 56 points, are in 4th and 5th, and Inter Miami has an extra game on hand on those 2. So you got to feel great about Inter Miami's chances of getting home field advantage in the first round. That, I would say, feels pretty locked in. And I don't know what this game tells us because we know they can put this type of performance together. They've done it many times this season. They did it a couple weeks ago against NYCFC on the road. They did it against the Columbus Crew earlier this year. They've done this a number of times where they look really good and just completely in control. But it's not the sign of something new. It's just that the team had a good game. And I thought most of the players on the 11 had the type of performances that they're going to pat themselves on the back for and sleep good tonight, and they're going to move from there. So that's sort of my overall thoughts. I'm your host, Scotty. This is going to be the last solo Raw reaction of the season. Sor will be back this coming week, and then we'll be doing the rest of them together for the rest of the regular season and then moving into the playoffs. So I appreciate you all putting up with me one last time. Okay, getting to the chat. Michael says, Messi is on a slump, and Lamar says 3 assists. Yes, a slump. I thought Messi was fine. I really did. It wasn't a fantastic game, but he gets his 3 goal contributions. Doesn't have a ton of opportunities on goal, but I did think the New England Revolution were really most worried about Messi, and so they left a few opportunities open, especially on that left side. I thought that Beeson, their left-sided center back, had a lot of trouble in this game with Tadeo Allende. And so Messi did his job. If they're going to focus on you in the central part of the pitch, create space for guys overlapping to get free. And we saw that with Jordi Alba on the left, and we saw it today Allende on the right. So he understood what the defense was doing, and he took advantage of it just like he was supposed to. Janet says, great game, wonderful Messi. Dare we hope for the Supporters' Shield? Well, the Supporters' Shield is done. The Philadelphia Union locked that up tonight. They now have 66 points. Again, if Inter Miami had won on Tuesday night, they'd be at 62, which means that this race would still be alive with Philadelphia in control. But because Inter Miami lost on Tuesday, Philadelphia was able to clinch it tonight. They got 66 points. Inter Miami can get to a maximum of 65, and so can any other team. So congratulations to the Philadelphia Union for being the Supporters' Shield champions. I will say I didn't even have them making the playoffs in my preseason prediction. So congratulations to them. It was a great season. I never thought they were going to be able to keep it up, and they absolutely did. So Ash says sloppy but entertaining, unlike last game. Yeah, there were certainly, especially in the second half, defensively, when the game was out of hand, I thought there were some sloppy moments, but I thought they were in control for the most part, even if they weren't as clean as you maybe would want. For those that don't know, Sergio Busquets is having a ceremony after the game. I'm not sure if Apple TV is broadcasting it, but it's just sort of a thank you for him, and he's obviously been an incredible part of Inter Miami, and we'll have a longer conversation about Sergio Busquets when he gets back on, when Sor gets back. Elmer says NYCFC didn't even try to tie the game. I didn't get a chance to see it. Lynn says fun game to watch, but that ref has no morals. Cynical says should Alba be the new striker? Maybe that's why we're getting this name's completely lost me. Reguilon, because Alba's going to be our new striker to replace Sergio Busquets. Not Sergio Busquets, Luis Suarez. Guys, I'm sorry. It's late at night, and I'm having trouble right now. I apologize. Elmer says, Messi really wanted to score a goal, but it didn't happen. I don't know if I would have put it that way. We've certainly seen him really want a goal and really go for it, and I don't think we saw that in this game. And Miami was up 4-1. Messi had a number of assists, and again, at this point, it's just, get a few points, secure your spot, secure home field advantage, give yourself the best chance to succeed in the playoffs, and that's what this game was about. And I think probably Inter Miami doesn't feel like what happens in these last 3 games, including tonight, is all that important. I'm sure that's part of why we're seeing some guys go to international duty, because these last 2 games are less relevant than any game so far this season, which is weird for Inter Miami because over the last 2.5 years, we've had very few that have felt going in so irrelevant. But that doesn't take away from this game. Again, they played well, and Inter Miami won 4-1, and everyone should be happy about that as an Inter Miami fan. Homer says the owners are going to talk about Boosie retirement. David says Alba, man of the match. One thing I will say is, because maybe there was some idea or conversation that Messi wouldn't go on international duty this upcoming window. Does that change because Inter Miami's not in the Supporters' Shield? Maybe. but also Argentina's playing in Miami, so it wouldn't surprise me if he's part of that game. And, you know, you don't have to do the travel and all that stuff, which makes it easier. David says, Jordi Alba, man of the match. Yes, I wanted to talk about this. Jordi Alba, really good. Again, it's just been this noticeable trend over the last maybe 10 weeks now. And I want to pick out the day I really noticed it. It was that second, right around the Cincinnati series. We played Cincinnati on the road in the middle of July, and then again a week later at home, or a week and a half later. Right around then, Jordi Alba really starts pushing higher up the field. And I thought it unlocked his game, and I think he's been much better and much more impactful and effective since then. He has a down game or two in him. We're going to see that every month for the rest of his career, and we've seen it once a month for his entire time in Inter Miami. We'll have sort of a down game where he's a little sloppy with the ball and a little turnover happy, but really he's, I think, in generally a really good form and taking himself and his play to a really nice level, and sort of the level we've seen him at for his peak. And I really believe it has to do with Mascherano giving him more freedom to get forward and be an attacking and an offensive player. That, to me, is everything. Kay says Messi lost the golden boot. As far as I know, he's still the leader. LAFC will play tomorrow against Atlanta. And Denny Bouanga, who's the big player in that race, is still one goal behind him. Both teams have 2 games left, if I'm not mistaken. And so Messi will have 1 game and Bouanga will have 2. And we'll see what happens. Rob says Suarez slows down Messi in Inter Miami. Messi hasn't scored in 3 straight games since Suarez is back because Suarez just ruins most attacks and can't play off Messi anymore with his bad touches. The first game Suarez was back was the best game we've seen them play in the last 2 months. And Messi had, I think, 2 goals and an assist. So I don't know what to say about that. Lots of conversation about the Sergio Busquets memorial going on after the game. I will have to watch it because that's the kind of thing that I like to watch. Just feel good. Tunde says team gets 4 goals out there and Suarez is the only forward not involved in anything. Well, I didn't think Baltasar was involved in anything either. But that's the kind of conversation for both Suarez and Baltasar where I like to rewatch the game before I have 2 over-the-top statements of intent. Tunde says, has any MLS player swept top goals, top assists, and MVP before? International break might make it tough. I have no idea. Tati says Masha needs to rest Messi next matches until the playoffs. Well, he's going on international duty, so I don't know what to say about that. He's choosing to go play 2 games instead of 1 for Argentina, which is his right, and that's fine. Tunde says Tapal was at least better today, though it might have just been New England being poor. I think that is maybe what makes a lot of players look good, is that New England was really poor. Okay, guys, I know this was super short, but I'm suffering from a terrible stomach ache, and I got through all the chats, and so I'm going to end it there. As always, and I apologize for being short, this will be the last solo podcast or solo raw reaction of the season, but I'm going to end it there. I hope you guys have a lovely night. Enjoy this 4-1 win. We'll be back tomorrow with Mark, and we'll have awards, and I'll rewatch the game and do a full game breakdown. But until then, I hope you guys have a lovely night, and we'll see you guys next time. Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in. Do us a favor and hit that like and subscribe button. Since our first viewer, sharing this with you all has been the very best part. So from the beginning until the end, thank you for being a part of this, and have a wonderful day.